Premiership Perusal Podcast presents Lads on Tour.
Matchday 2. It's over.
It's over. It's done and dusted.
In the books.
We're 2/3 of the way done with the group stage.
It's going fast. It's going fast. We always knew it would.
Gone in a blink, just like our existence.
Always. Well, first one.
It's a real banger.
Yeah, Wednesday, Finland, Russia, 1-0 to Russia. Neither team have that many Premier League guys, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. Finland with the early disallowed goal.
It's unlucky.
Yeah.
From our guy, Raitala.
Yeah, but not from our guy, Teemu Pukki.
No. Hasn't done much.
No.
A little disappointed.
Well, I feel like it's partially one of those things. Teams are going in knowing who Pukki is, so they're going to be eyeing him up. If they're going to be eyeing anybody, I'll try to neutralize him.
Yeah, that's true.
But nothing too crazy in this one. Moranchuk with a nice goal, but...
Yeah, that was a nice finish.
Yeah, he's quality for Atalanta. I know he's been rumored with some Premier League teams in the past, but I don't think he's looking for a move anytime soon.
It seems like there's a lot of Atalanta guys that just pop up and do well.
Yeah, I think a lot of them have scored in these Euros for their teams. I think the one dude who hasn't, the Ukraine guy who's one of their better attackers off the bench. But moving on, unless you have something you want to say about that one. We're going to a game that actually, Wales 2, Turkey 0. This is the nail in the coffin for all Turkey's hopes.
Your side, Turkey.
Yeah.
The second place dream is over.
It's over. It's been over. This game, Bale showing his class, Ramsey showing his class. I was just surprised how much Turkey let Bale have the space to do what he wanted, even though he was deep a lot of times, especially on that first goal and all the chances that Ramsey had in the first half. Bale was pretty deep, and they just let him. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah, and then they let Ramsey get in behind, too.
I was going to say, they were letting guys run off their backs constantly.
Yeah.
Soyuncu, bad look for him. Rough tournament. Not fully on him, but, I mean, a lot of it will have to do with tactics and stuff, playing up so high to allow that space to get in behind, too, but...
Yeah, defensively, I would have thought that Turkey would have been a little better with Okay Yakushlu sitting in, kind of acting as a third center back at times. But overall, they looked pretty awful defensively. From a Wales perspective, this is what I expected out of Wales, the way they played in this game.
Yes.
That's what I expected from them in the first game, which they were a little more...
Part of that has to do with Switzerland.
Defensive.
It just isn't completely inept at defending.
That's true.
Like Turkey. I mean, it's going to be harder to manufacture goals, but
still, with like Aaron Ramsey making runs from the midfield, didn't see much of that in the Switzerland
No,
game.
It definitely felt like they had to work more to manufacture the goals, which, I mean, it's not that surprising, but... Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this is more Wales or if that first game was more like Wales in terms of kind of struggling in attack, or if they make it look this easy. Because I want to say the possession in this game was like, I think Wales probably had like around 40%. It was probably a little under that. But it felt like they always had the better chances. And it wasn't just like purely counterattacks or anything. They held some possession for a good while. But...
Yeah, 44% for Wales.
So, I mean, it felt like Wales were definitely the better team. But it's just interesting to watch some of these Premier League guys, even the old Premier League guys, get a refresh on them, like Ramsey and stuff, who's kind of fallen out of favorite. Juventus been rumored back to the Premier League, so it's good to see him.
He's one of my favorite players. Just watching him on that first goal.
Which is saying a lot since you support Tottenham.
Stop bullying me. That first goal, that ball from Bale Ramsey making the run in behind. Chef's kiss. Mwah.
I can't believe
Magnifique.
how many chances he did miss.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that was probably like the third one.
I think one he thought he was offside. So
yeah.
But still, you got to finish, especially with they're gonna go to VAR anyways to check, so you might as well.
Yeah.
This isn't FIFA. You just hold the button down and shoot when you're offside.
I also enjoyed watching Dan James just fly up the wing.
Yeah, he was having a particularly good performance out there for Wales. Another old Premier League player that got a little refresh. Got to see him again, Mr. Allen.
Oh, Joe Allen, the Welsh Chavi. Yes,
he was back. Kiefer Moore, we talked about him last podcast, wasn't as noticeable this game, partially because their play style, they weren't really just going just strictly for crosses into the box and trying to win headers and stuff. They were able to
getting in behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Ward clean sheet.
Danny Ward,
the
Welsh goalkeeper, not to be confused with David Marshall, who plays for Scotland.
And then the final game on that day was Italy-Switzerland.
Whoa.
Oh, what do you want to talk about here?
We're just brushing by Gareth Bale, missing the penalty.
Oh, man.
Skied it.
Yeah, I was saying if you stacked the net on top of itself, it would have roofed the second net. That's how high it went. That was actually incredible.
Which was funny because he was having a great game up until that point. And then he missed the penalty. Yeah. He won the penalty himself, takes the penalty, skies it. And that was important because
it's kept Turkey in it.
Kept Turkey in it.
But then you realize Turkey couldn't complete a pass in the midfield, and you're like, oh.
That's true.
That's a bad sign.
And then to cap off the game.
Yeah, he had another just kind of dribble.
This was one of those things where it's like, only Gareth Bale would do this because he doesn't care that much.
Yeah.
Normally, you'd be like, okay, stand in the corner, kill off the clock. But he's like...
nonchalant, just like,
no,
let's just...
I'm going to just dribble down the end line. And then it gets kicked out. And then I'm going to do it again because it worked the first time. And then I'm going to pass to Connor Roberts, who's going to score, and it's going to be 2-0.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. We're Wales.
Wales, dude, they got some...
Wales, Golf Madrid in that order.
Yes, they have some vibes going for them.
They do have good vibes. I like
Are they gonna do better in England? We'll find out. Just like Euro 2016.
Yeah, there's a disparity of vibes. 100%.
Are we ready for the Italy-Switzerland game?
Yeah, I know you're big on the Italy. Even though,
man.
Okay, you're Mr. Turkey. He's just trying to brush past that. Like
that's what it is.
Turkey, I've never rated
him. Get him out of my face. Italy 3, Switzerland 0. This game, it was always going to be interesting. It probably suited Italy better than the first game because we knew Turkey would just kind of sit back and Italy would have to manufacture a goal through possession. This game, they could sit back a little more, absorb some pressure, and then kind of break a little quicker, better link-up play. That's exactly what happened, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, they had a lot more space in this game. And like you said, they were sitting back a little more, and not
like low block.
No,
sitting back. Obviously,
just happy to not have the ball at all times like they did in the match against Turkey. But still, they were fast on the counter. Berardi was looking
very
excellent
good
again.
Yes,
Locatelli. I mean, what can you say?
Oh,
incredible!
My guy. That pass to spring it out wide on the first goal off the volley, just flicking it out wide for like a through ball. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Gets rewarded with the goal too.
Yeah.
2 goals for him.
The price tag, you can just hear the dollars going.
Oh my gosh. Well, Juventus apparently made an offer of 30 mil for him and a player, but I mean,
you got to be thinking more than that.
Yeah, Swasulo is going to be thinking probably in the 60 range for a player of his quality.
Yep.
Not a ton of Premier League guys. Did anyone stand out to you really of the Premier League guys?
No.
On the Swiss side?
Switzerland, they didn't offer that much going forward in this game, really. I thought it just kind of disappointing for the Swiss this tournament.
Yeah, they just really haven't looked all that impressive. And Bolo had a good first game in attack, but their wide players are just kind of not doing it for me, Rodriguez and Babu.
Yeah.
But your guy Xhaka, at least he has blonde hair, you know.
He's got blonde hair.
He tried to get the vibes going. He's like, "Let's go, guy,"
Yeah.
and then everyone's like, "We'll probably just be okay."
We won't score that many and we won't concede that many, but we conceded 3 because Locatelli's a beast.
Yeah.
That long range shot for his second goal.
Oh my gosh! And then it doesn't even matter because Immobile is not like the most efficient with his chances, but then he can make one out of really nothing with that third goal that he had.
Yep, just to cap it off.
Oh my gosh! So for this one, we're looking at the group right now through the two games: Italy on 6, Wales on 4, Swiss on 1, Turkey on 0. It's just really a matter of Switzerland can take all 3 and then give themselves a chance
to get that third place spot.
Yeah, because more than likely with goal differential, I don't even think Wales will fall out of second if they just stay at 4. Say Italy beats them, or if they draw. I mean, then Switzerland has no chance. But I don't see anything for Swiss unless they somehow the cards kind of fall in their favor. What'd you say?
They'd probably need like a
because right now they're
6-0 win or something.
They're -3.
Or I suppose it could be like Wales loses 3-0 and Swiss win 3-0. Something like that.
But you're underestimating Turkey. No, it's always weird because Switzerland kind of have it all to play for. Turkey have nothing to lose. Italy and Wales, you wonder with games like that where both teams are through if they might just kind of play some more of their backups and kind of, or if they just keep their guys going and they just want to keep it rolling, keep the momentum up.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gareth Bale's not playing.
Mm-hmm. Or even if they take him off at half, if it's just kind of like a game where they can grind it out. But I wouldn't rule that out either. So you want to move on to the second part of Group B? Since we talked about Finland, Russia, you want to talk about Belgium, Denmark?
Yeah, sandwiched in between the Group C.
Yeah, it's kind of
confusing.
Strange. But... Yeah. So then we'll do
Denmark, Belgium.
Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay. So with this one, 2-1 Belgium over Denmark. Started off hot.
Denmark right out the gate, second minute, Poulsen with the goal.
Yeah, Den Jager giving the ball away. Premier League talent. Pure Emil Højbjerg with the intercept, gets the assist.
I gotta say, I talk a lot about Højbjerg and that I'm not a big fan. Mm-hmm. In this game, he seemed like he was more offensive and
going forward.
He wasn't just like winning balls. It was more like a progressive player. And
part of that is probably they had to adjust their tactics somewhat with them knowing Eriksen's out, and they're like, well, that's still true. Our best quality midfielder. We might just have to ask him to do a little more in attack, because I noticed that too. He's kind of more forward than he would be for Denmark or Tottenham, really. And then they just kind of had Delaney be the main rock in midfield. I
was impressed by Damsgaard, the youngster. He was looking nice
the
out
Samp
there.
Man. He's very good, creating out wide for them.
Yeah, that first half, that was pretty much all Denmark.
And
that place was rocking.
Yes. Then the second half, a bad man came on. A very bad man.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne making his tournament debut.
Yeah. What else you guys say? Comes on, assists within the first 5-10 minutes of being on. And then, as we know, ended up getting the winner. Some big plays that it didn't result directly in the goal, but in the build-up by Lukaku. Especially on one of those, he had a very nice dribble move. Yeah, to create that space.
That was a nice dribble he had.
You know who, not to get too much into it because they're not really Premier League guys, but a little disappointment out of Mertens and Carrasco this tournament. Carrasco could have technically had the one goal earlier, and Torgan Hazard stepped in and tapped it in, but because Carrasco's also there. But they really haven't been doing...
haven't looked as good as they had in prior tournaments or with their clubs.
Yeah, completely.
This game just made me think of Denmark. It's like, man, It's
It's
unlucky.
unfortunate bounce. It's like literally like worst case scenario that could have happened
Yeah,
for them.
they played well in this game. The first game they didn't play that great, but
What are you gonna
you
do
know.
with the circumstances? It's kind of they kind of got cheated out. Bad luck.
Yeah. So
Tournament
unfortunate. Maybe.
scenario from hell, kind of for their tournament.
So what's Group B looking like?
So their group right here, we got Belgium at 6, Russia at 3, Finland at 3, Denmark at 0. Russia's -2 goal differential. Finland is at 0 goal differential, and Denmark's at -2.
And Denmark is playing Finland.
No, Denmark's playing Russia.
Oh yeah, that's right. They
Yeah,
lost.
Finland has to play Belgium.
So Finland probably will lose. So if Denmark can
Yeah,
beat
even if Belgium
Russia,
sat their guys, I would feel confident that Belgium could.
and you said Russia's goal differential was +2,
-2.
-2. Oh,
Yeah.
because they got beat 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
So if Denmark
Denmark wins,
beats Russia,
they could end up going through.
and Denmark's goal differential is what?
-2 right now.
-2. So then it'd be something better than -2 if they won.
Yeah. So
So they could go through.
they could go through
I
somehow
hope
after all
so
this.
for them. I feel like they deserve it.
Yeah,
They played really nicely in
they're
this
for
game.
sure, I would say, a top 10 side in this tournament, just in general. But given everything they have and losing best player, you definitely hope that it works out for them. Anything else you want to touch on in this game, the Belgium game?
No, I don't have anything
Other than
else.
just De Bruyne's.
De Bruyne is insane.
Yeah, I mean,
He's kind of one
We
of those
thought-
guys that he's not a shiny player. He's not a Ronaldo or a Messi or
yeah, he just has that quality, but the way he goes about it's completely different than.
yeah, he's so low key about it. I
Yeah.
mean, in this game, it seemed like he was still affected by the Eriksson thing, maybe, with his
Yeah.
celebration of his
Oh,
goal.
for sure.
Showing
Yeah.
respect and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, we wondered how he'd be because he had the facial fracture against
Yeah.
Chelsea not that long ago. He
Yeah.
comes out that he says, "I don't need my stinking face."
Hasn't missed a beat. He didn't even wear a mask. I was
No.
surprised.
Yeah, that's
Bad juju, wearing masks. You end up like Tony Rudiger.
yeah, but we'll get to him later
Yeah.
in his side. The rest of the games that day, Group C. The first one was Ukraine, North Macedonia. This is one of those games where they kind of both just went for it, and it wasn't the prettiest of styles. There's a lot of missed passes and whatnot, but it's just an entertaining game to watch because
Yeah.
both teams are willing to go for it.
Right.
It looked like Ukraine was going to have their control over this game. They had it by the scruff of the neck, and then North Macedonia just kind of started making chances.
Yeah, started off 2-0, goals from Yarmolenko in the 29th minute, and Yaremchuk, who had a nice game, scored
Yeah.
in the 34th minute. He might be on the radar of some Premier League teams.
Very well could be.
And then, like you said, the penalty in the 56th minute or so saved.
Rebound right
And then-
to Alioski.
Unfortunate rebound right back to him, and he scores.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Ukraine's keeper in the games. Obviously, they conceded 3 against the Netherlands, but he's been playing well.
Yeah,
You know,
Bushchan.
yeah, I think he's at Kiev, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Alioski, not going to be taking penalties at Leeds anytime soon, but but it's,
I thought he
it's
had a
great to see.
pretty awful game, to be
Yeah,
honest, other than
no.
the scoring
Well,
off of the
he
rebound.
didn't do very good against Austria either.
Yeah,
But what are you gonna do? They're gonna be
It-
relying on him quite a bit.
it was a pretty terrible penalty, too.
Yeah, it's right. He almost, and then the rebound shot was kind of savable.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like middle of the net, but with this one, I tried to keep tabs on Zinchenko. He looked better.
Yeah.
Part of that is just North Macedonia's quality in midfield isn't going to be quite as good as the Dutch.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, but at least it's an improvement. I'll give him that.
Yep.
It wasn't.
true.
He wasn't sticking out like a sore thumb for bad plays.
Yeah.
And then the second game for this one Netherlands and Austria. 2-0 for the Netherlands. Depay finally, their main man, getting on the score sheet with a goal.
Yeah, scores the penalty, which in this tournament has been a hard thing to do for most people.
Yeah, it's crazy how many pens have been saved. That's like the second takeaway, I think, from like just general stats. First is the amount of second half goals, and the second is penalties are just like not a given whatsoever.
Yeah, and own goals.
Oh, gosh.
That's number 3.
This is true. Dumfries with another one.
I've been really impressed with Dumfries.
He's
got some
a good
quality
player.
going forward.
Yeah, I think Bayern are looking at potentially signing him.
Yeah.
From the Eredivisie. Malen with the dribble forward on that to feed him. He's a name who's been popping up. I think not the highest of Premier League clubs, but that middle kind of tier. I've seen some things. Maybe Everton, Arsenal. I think wasn't he a youth product?
He was at Arsenal.
He was at Arsenal.
Yep.
Okay, maybe it's just
Then
Everton and like West Ham.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of.
Yeah, it was a nice run and a nice pass over to Dumfries to score the goal. Memphis Depay he missed a sitter.
Yeah, that was
a
not
rough
great.
go.
My guy Voot, he fed him, and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
There was no assist to show for it.
And then looking at it from Austria's point of view, Alaba gave up the penalty early, just kind of a poor play. And it's like we were wondering if he was going to change positions, play a little more
forward, maybe
minded.
more mid, but
they kept him
back.
Yeah, they kept him back and didn't score any goals. I thought Savitzer didn't look as good in this game. He didn't have as much control over the game, but, it's the Netherlands versus North Macedonia, so.
True. I feel like what hurts Austria, too, is they don't really have a specific 9.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Gregoritsch is kind of more going forward. I always view him more as a 10 or maybe a false 9 in the Bundesliga, and then they have the young Baumgartner, who, again, more of a false 9 or 10, and they both kind of have them as their main attackers. One note real quick, because it's a big one. Patrick Van Aanholt getting in this game.
One big note is that the Netherlands didn't blow their lead this time.
This is true.
Even after they took off Daley Blind.
Yeah, they took off Blind, and Ake came in again, and they actually held it this time.
I was sitting there thinking like, oh boy, here we go again.
But no, not today, Frank de Boer says.
Not today.
Anything else you want to touch on this game, or you want to head right to the Group C?
Overall,
recap?
I've been kind of disappointed by Austria. I expected a little more from them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the quality hasn't been there this tournament going forward.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I wanted to say was that goal that Dumfries scored. Daniel Bachmann almost timed that save on the pass across. It was pretty funny. So Group C, the layout right now through 2 games. Netherlands 6 points, Ukraine 3 points, Austria 3 points, North Macedonia 0 points. Goal differential, Ukraine 0, Austria 0, North Macedonia 0. So it's all to play for.
Yeah, Ukraine versus Austria.
Mm-hmm.
If I was betting, I'd say Ukraine for me personally.
Because of their chance to score? It's just better?
Yeah,
They have looked a little better in form.
Yeah, I think with like Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, they look
Going
better
forward.
up front. Yeah. Austria just hasn't impressed me. Maybe in this game they'll push up David Alaba.
Maybe.
But probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to change anything, Austria, because they didn't really change.
He didn't even have a good game defensively. Like
David Alaba on blast right now.
What?
No, but he did.
Like, what's the point? We're wasting him.
Sitting back there.
And he's giving up pens. Moving
he
forward.
has the quality to distribute the ball going forward.
Yeah,
I feel
we
like
saw it in the first game against North Macedonia. When he starts pushing forward, they start creating more chances. But who am I? Who am I to judge?
Exactly. Not the Austrian manager, apparently.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling Austria might win that game, but I'll be pulling for the Ukraine.
Well, Arnautovic is back.
Yes, he is.
with a
So,
vengeance.
Yeah, man. We'll see what he has to say to Ukraine. We'll see what that man has to say to Ukraine. Hopefully, if the Netherlands just are lackluster or something, North Macedonia could pull off a win just because that'd be
Yeah,
something for
that would be
us
funny.
to, just smile about and be like, oh, look at that.
Pandev hat trick.
Yeah. Group D, we'll start off Croatia, Czech Republic, 1-1. This game was just another disappointment from Croatia.
Yeah, they changed up the back line, going with Vida and Lovren as their center back pairing. Try and bring in a little more experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it seems like all their pairings of their back four don't have that much experience together specifically. And even looking at like Vershalko, who's been a staple in their back line for a while now, he doesn't get a ton of time playing at club as much as he used to. I just wonder if he's also maybe someone they should look to switch in and out, since it doesn't matter. It's not like they have coercion together playing, and he hasn't done much for me.
Yeah, and Lovren comes in, gets the handball penalty called against him. What are your thoughts on that penalty?
That was such a weird one. That could, I don't know, because I
think for me it's a penalty, personally.
It's weird that it's one of those where if it's not called right away, it's kind of hard to overturn. A lot of times with VAR, that's the case where it's like you got to make sure it's 100%. But in this tournament, the VAR seems to be a little different, the officiating with it. So
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't say it's egregious that they gave him a penalty or something. I mean,
Yeah.
for God's sakes, look at Schick after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took advantage of it. Patrick Schick, the golden boot right now.
My favorite picture was when he had
The blood on his face?
He had the blood on his face, running down his face. He
Yeah.
takes the penalty, and he's just like celebrating,
flexing.
blood running down his face, and he just looks angry,
Yes.
like he did in the last
He has
game.
those piercing eyes, too. I think that adds to it.
Kind of got like the dark bags under his eyes.
He could be a John Wick villain or something.
Yeah. Patrick Schick coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, they had Boban. Now they have Patrick Schick. The subs for Croatia before the goal, they didn't really do much. I don't know. They just don't. I think Croatia just lacks the quality and attack going forward.
Yeah.
Rebic has been pretty
He's
poor.
been struggling.
Pretty poor for him. Kramaric hasn't got it going. Brekalo is a guy I thought might do some stuff for him too going forward. Perisic with a very nice dribble. Our guy Shufal, he tipped over.
Doing West Ham dirty.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was a nice individual effort from Perisic, though, to level the game.
Mm-hmm. And they had some chances, more chances than the Czechs later as the game went on, but just couldn't capitalize. And they weren't amazing, like, clear-cut chances, but sometimes you have to make something out of nothing with those chances if you're going to advance.
Yeah.
And the quality for the Croatia just not there. Is there anyone that really stood out to you in this game? I feel like what's standing out to me is just the fall of Modric. He's just not quite where he used to be. And I mean, that's expected. He's, 36 now? 35?
Yeah, something like that.
He's older, so it's hard to put all that on him. But
yeah, I was hoping to see a little more from Brekalo, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really capitalize on any of his.
For the Czechs, I really like going forward so far as Yankto. I thought he's had some pretty solid efforts for them all over the pitch. But are we going to go to the big game now?
Yeah, the game of the match day, the one we were all looking forward to. The thriller, the Friday night premiere game.
17 Premier League players in the starting lineups combined.
Yeah, there you go.
Shaw and James in this time. Thoughts on that just initially, even before the game? What were you thinking? You're like, oh, they're going to...
Yeah, I was a little surprised that they decided to change it up. I mean...
Walker
is a little older, so I understand...
Maybe a little more rest for him, but...
Trying to give him some rest. I mean, I like Shaw. Reece James It seems like he fits better as like a
Just a
right-sided center back in a back three, as
or
opposed to
even
a fullback.
even just like a wing back too. Than just like a natural like right back where you're
Yeah,
relying on him to pretty much be more defense
yeah,
than attacking or even facilitating the attack from the back three. But um,
yeah. So they went with the same lineup otherwise, other than the fullbacks.
so from what I had understood is that Maguire was fit enough to play.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
That's kind of strange.
I mean,
If they're changing it up, you would figure they might try and incorporate him, or maybe they could have, but
I think that could have been like a third match if they were sitting nicely,
yeah.
on 6 points or something. Bring
Well,
in Maguire.
it's nice to think ahead like that, and then
Yeah.
you don't perform, and it doesn't
that's
work
true.
out like that.
Che
I
Adams
noticed
for Scotland.
Yeah, I noticed. I was gonna say the Scotland long balls early were pretty effective for him, and Che Adams was part of that, getting in there.
Yeah, we were calling for him last
Yeah,
game.
he
for him to start.
finally got in there.
Yeah.
And they still kept Dykes out there too. I know that they're really into him. I thought one guy that they pulled off, and this just go to show that they were probably gonna plan on sitting back, was Armstrong. Normally starts for him.
Yeah.
The Southampton man. So
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
yeah.
Also, they had Tierney back in there,
Mm-hmm.
back from injury.
Yep. Is there anything that stood out to you from the play early on in this game?
Well, England. I gotta say, they had the big chance with the Stones header off the corner.
Mm-hmm.
The wide open header. I mean, he hit the post. What can you say? That
Yeah.
happens.
Edge of the 6-yard box, though, you got to anticipate that one should probably
Yeah.
be going in.
From England, it was just a lack of creativity going forward, and they didn't really have that much in terms of chances.
No.
All that much.
I noticed right away early on, Kane was so far back, and it's like, why is he so far back getting the ball? You have Foden, you have Sterling, you have Mount. Those guys should be coming back to get the ball, to link up. Why does Harry Kane have to come back to get the ball? I don't get that.
The issue was that the three center backs for Scotland, if he's holding that line, he's invisible up there. So he's got to come back. And then you get Sterling who comes into the middle, and then it's just like the spacing is all messed up because Kane is coming back to get the ball.
Yeah.
And Sterling's not wide enough.
Yeah.
And it was just...
It's so frustrating because you can see how they're able to stymie him, but at the same time, it's like, how is Southgate not making the proper adjustments and
and it's like they're not taking any risks with passes or anything. They're just kind of slowly passing between the center backs and the full backs.
And they kept doing the same thing over and over throughout the game. And even if you just break it down basic, like what side they're going to, it was always going through Shaw's side.
Yeah.
It never was, rarely, there's like a 10-minute stretch, it felt like, where they were going more through James' side. And even, if you swap the fullbacks for a little bit and you still had Shaw, but you're going on the other side of the field, it felt they were content.
It looked like they just ran out of ideas. Like,
Yeah.
For some reason, it seems like Mount and Foden and maybe Sterling, I don't know. Mostly like Mount and Foden, they don't really play that well together for whatever reason. I don't know why. But we see some chances out of Scotland. They don't convert on their chances, but they did have some opportunities.
They definitely did. One thing I noticed, besides their chances and stuff, because like I was saying with the long balls going forward and stuff, that was their best chance to get in behind and whatnot. John McGinn, I thought, had a really good game. Just all over the field.
Yeah.
Hassling all the English attackers out there. Just quality for Villa during the year. It's no surprise. Able to win the ball. They don't really need him to go forward in this game. They didn't need him, McGregor, or Billy Gilmore to really push forward. It's just a matter of getting behind with the long balls as we're talking about, and Shea
Yeah.
Adams had some nice turns once he did actually get on the ball and stuff. But yeah, I just was more impressed by Scotland and their ability to hold up. I thought your guy Tierney played very well too.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so England, we see this isn't working. It's 0-0 at halftime, and obviously it's not working. England's not getting chances. Kane isn't getting many touches on the ball, and if it is,
He's instantly being pressed by
yeah.
Scotland, and he immediately has to get rid of it.
So they make some subs. They bring on Grealish. Doesn't have much of an impact.
He was somewhat doing Grealish things in terms of like winning fouls and stuff, but he wasn't creating chances or really shots or anything. So,
and then they bring on Marcus Rashford for Harry Kane. I don't like that substitution personally.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go away from the holding up a play, but even then, like they weren't holding up play, and they're towards the end they're kind of just swinging balls in, and they're going for that method. It's like, well, you might as well have Kane out there for that then.
I would rather them take off either
Sterling is who I thought should have came off in this.
Well, my thoughts is they don't need Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips both in this match.
Yeah.
So you could take off one of them and put on. You could put on Rashford, or you could put on Calvert-Lewin. Maybe go like a 4-4-2, because then you're not having Harry Kane so isolated up front against the three center backs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I just felt like the wide play from England was just lacking this game. Mainly Sterling, back to being frustrated with him. You wonder, a lot of people called for Sancho, which makes sense, because it's like when nothing's going, you might as well throw an attacker out there. You might think Sterling's better, but if he doesn't have it on that day, you might as well give a different attacker a chance, because he could very well possess the quality that day that Sterling didn't.
I would have preferred to see Sancho come on instead of Rashford, and keep Kane on, but take off Sterling, put on Sancho.
Yeah, there's really two ways they could have went about it, because if they were going to go two up front, Rashford wouldn't have been a bad idea, but they never really ever do that. That's why if you're going to do like for like, take Sterling off, Sancho on. But if they were going to actually adjust in terms of play style and whatnot, I think that taking off Rice or Phillips as one of the two holding mids as their pivots, take them off, put on another attacker.
And I mean, both those guys we've seen for the club that they can hold it down themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Calvin Phillips, he does it for Leeds. If you can do it for Leeds, you can do it for anybody.
Yeah.
So
you're going to be asked a lot at Leeds to do that.
So it'll be interesting to see. I'm thinking maybe in this next game, maybe go with the back three formation, get wing backs, and
going forward, potentially. I don't know, because the lineup made more sense against Croatia, because Croatia was actually going to push back and try and score and hold possession and stuff.
Yeah.
So the two guys that could be a double pivot would make sense, but in this game, I don't think it did make that much sense. It's too defensive for a team that's just gonna hoof the ball forward and try and get on the end of one.
Yeah.
But
just classic England disappointment is what it is. I mean, huge game for Scotland.
And even just like at times when like Scotland did have the ball, it's like, England, why are you not pressing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It was too easy.
Ball. Yeah. Scotland just were not challenged. That's why it just felt like England were content. They're just like, whatever. It's fine. This is all fine.
Yeah, and there was no plan B.
No, there really wasn't.
Just like, okay, well, guess this is it.
If you had to pick a man of the match for England, you go Pickford, you go Mings. I thought Mings played well.
Pickford had a couple big saves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought Mings did a good job winning the ball. He set that screen that allowed Stones to be open for the header.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to be fair, there weren't a ton of chances for Mings to stop.
Yeah.
And if there were chances, Pickford was the one that was making the final stop. So, I don't know. It was all around very disappointing
Very
game.
disappointing. I mean, we haven't seen all that much from England.
No.
They got the 1-0 win against Croatia, but there wasn't a whole lot in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Very little in this game. So they have a big match against the Czech Republic.
I feel better about the defense and stuff than I do about the attack right now, obviously.
Yeah.
Given the fact that they're holding clean sheets yet, or keeping clean sheets yet, only scoring 1 goal in 2 games.
Especially with the quality of players that they have.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it has to be the tactics.
Yeah, it absolutely. You don't, with the Premier League Player of the Year candidate, Kane, and you have a Young Player of the Year in Phil Foden,
Yeah.
and you have a guy in Sterling who's Champions League finalist starter. I mean, and he's been a household name in the Premier League for a while.
And you can't get anything going.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. I mean, England had 1 shot on target.
Is that bad? It's not good. It's not good.
So does Sancho start the next game? Sancho and Grealish, maybe? I kind of want to see Grealish instead of Mount.
Just right off the top, I wonder if, because here, let's look at the table right here. So we have the Czechs at top, 4 points, 2 goal differential. England in second, 4 points, 1 goal differential. Croatia 1 point minus 1 goal differential. Scotland 1 point minus 2 goal differential. So this is going to be for the top of the group between England and Czechs. Just thinking back to the other games, it feels like going wide is your best opportunity against the Czechs. So you got to make the right call no matter who you're going with your wide attacking players. So it will be interesting if they want to see Grealish out there or if they want to maybe go with Sancho. Because there's going to be some familiarity with Schufall being the fullback for the Czechs. So maybe if there's some player, maybe a Declan Rice might have some advantage on how to attack them.
Yeah.
Or if there's been a Premier League attacker who's had success against them, they'll go with him. Or just a fresh new face, never matched up against him, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
It just depends how they want to look at it, but you'd have to change it up.
For sure.
2 games, 1 goal. I mean, I would say whether it is Sancho or Grealish out there, I would probably go Sancho.
I'd go with both.
Yeah.
I'd go with Grealish as a number 10.
But, yeah. Well, because, I mean, he ends up being out wide too anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he does. He definitely can facilitate through the central part of the field. I think that anything is going to help because right now what they got going, it's only up.
If they play with Rice and Phillips in the midfield again, then just too defensive.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll have to be, even though Czechs have shown they can score going forward, I don't think they're going to have to be as defensive. It's not going to be quite like, it's honestly going to be somewhere in a mix between the Croatia game and the Scotland game in terms of what the Czechs do, because they're not going to sit back like Scotland did entirely, but they're not going to be trying to hold possession and go forward like Croatia did.
Right, yeah, they're going to be more on the counter, but not as
low
ball.
block. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just.
But then with that, I mean, the one thing to always keep track with Sancho, you're getting nothing on the defensive end.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I mean, they're not requiring that anyways by the looks of it with this last game against Scotland.
No.
They just weren't having anybody press sitting back, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what England do.
See, this is what happens when you don't bring Jay Lings. The vibes are just out of whack.
That's true. We'll just do it real quick. Prediction.
I'm going to say maybe like a 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say 2-1 for England. I'm too hopeful for them.
Yeah, we all want to be hopeful.
How about Croatia-Scotland? Because they, depending on how it goes, they could technically get
Third.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, with 4 points in third place. Yeah, for sure.
I would.
I want Scotland so bad. I feel like they deserve it. But I'm not sure.
I want to trust Scotland, but at the same time, I'm not super confident in their defensive pairing. They'll just be sitting back. But then at the same time, I'm not very confident in Croatia.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't seen Croatia really be in a situation where they're going to have like the absolute majority of possession. Because this last game against the Czechs, I think it was 50-50. So
yeah, it seemed like it.
I want to see what they do if they actually prefer to be almost like Italy with that Turkey game, where they have to manufacture something out of possession. Maybe that's what they need to get going. But I'll go for a draw. I'll go for a 1-1 draw in that game, and none of them get through, unfortunately.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see like a 1-0 for either side, to be honest.
You really could. Yeah.
It just could go either way. So
knowing this, it'll probably end up like 4-0 Croatia somehow or something like that.
Yeah, but both teams should be going all out. We know that because a draw is not going to do them any good.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder what all out for Scotland on attack is. I mean, we saw them do it at times, have success against the Czechs attacking, but for sustained periods against Croatia is going to be a lot tougher.
Yeah, their all out is more like all out counterattack.
Yeah. Push. Anything else you want to touch on, or you want to go to Group E?
England need to get it together.
How
are you going to win the Euros playing like this?
You're not.
You're disappointing me.
Maybe they're going for the rope-a-dope. Everyone's like, England, look at them over there, and then they just come out of nowhere.
Release the Sancho.
When I said that when I'm too hopeful about England, there it is right there.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills you.
Group E, Sweden, Slovakia. Little 1-0 for Sweden.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, kind of boring game. It wasn't very interesting to me.
I was disappointed with Sweden. I expected a little more going forward from them. I mean, Isak had another good game.
Yeah, he looks good.
And he's kind of like the main guy doing stuff. Other than that, there wasn't too much. They had some chances, but didn't convert on them in the first half.
It's just unfortunate that pretty much everyone in their midfield besides Forsberg is defensive minded. I mean, Seb Larson, I guess, isn't really. I don't know what Seb Larson is these
40
days.
Years old.
Yeah, he's
you can't expect much out of him.
He's well rounded. We'll put it like that to say that.
He's got the intangibles.
Yeah, and all their back four are going to be defensive minded. They don't really. They have two fullbacks in the natural sense of it. They can go forward occasionally, but they're defensive oriented first.
Augustinson did have a good chance on a header.
He did off the corner. Or was it just a regular cross? I forget.
I don't remember.
I fell asleep during the game.
It was early.
But Berg has really kind of let them down.
Yeah.
I mean, to say the least. He had that one tap-in chance last game and whiffed on it. But they get all 3 points off the pen. Slovakia this game didn't look as strong, I guess, going forward as they did against Poland.
Yeah, they didn't really build off that performance.
Part of that's less about Slovakia and more about Poland's defense versus Sweden's defense. I like Sweden's defense.
Yeah, it's solid.
It is solid. Not to mention Olsen is just standing on his head for some of these saves. But not a ton of Premier League guys in this. I don't know how much time you were thinking about spending on this. I wasn't planning on talking about too much.
Yeah, just like we said, Isak,
good going forward. They probably deserved to win, I guess. I mean, they had the better chances.
Yeah.
They just didn't really capitalize on those, and then they get the fortunate penalty.
Yeah, Slovakia needed to do a little more offensively in that game.
Yeah.
But tough side to break down, Sweden.
Sweden,
But
for sure. I mean, well, you just saw Spain hold 87% possession against them and couldn't do anything, so.
yeah. Just the one thing I hope, like we said in the last one, but I'd like to see Isak in the Premier League.
That'd be amazing. If you had to pick a side, don't say it.
Well,
Yeah. If you had to say anyone but Arsenal, even though Arsenal probably would be the most ideal team for him.
he'd be a good fit on Liverpool.
I agree. He would be pretty good there. I think he'd be going Chelsea, you know why? Because they don't have an actual 9.
That's true. Yeah. Although
they wouldn't
not
really
like
need
a-
him. No, they wouldn't need him
he's
to
not a
create as
number
much
9.
as, yeah.
That's why I kind of like him on Liverpool, because they don't really play with a regular 9 setup. You know?
That's true. Very true. Spain and Poland.
Spain and Poland.
We just got done watching this game.
fresh off the presses. Wow, that was a thriller. What are your hot takes on Spain versus Poland?
I thought the game stunk. I was surprised, and I mentioned this to you during the game, why Moreno was out wide. He's just a 9, and they had him out wide. They're dead set on Morata being the central guy. I mean, it worked out for him. Moreno had that cut in off the wing, like a shot pass kind of thing, maybe like a scuff shot. Morata gets on the right end of it for their goal.
Yeah, he looked their best attacking player.
Moreno?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not talking Morata.
No, not Morata, Moreno, yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy how, like, they had 76% possession today. They created, like, 6 chances.
That's a problem with this system. I know everyone loves it, and it's like, oh my God, Spain, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Like in the first game, Taylor Twellman was commentating, and he's like, I love watching Spain because they pass so good. And it's like, guess what? When you pass between your fullback and your defensive midfielder, it does nothing for you.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with this system is it's too easy to get caught up in it, and you forget to actually go forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I feel like at times it's very predictable, too.
Yeah,
with,
for sure.
With the 1-2s, mainly between trying to get the fullback forward. Because a lot of times in that Sweden game, what would happen is, I mean, Sweden, they're a good defensive team. We talked about it. They would just step in and poke it out, and then you just have a throw in, and you're trying to restart and create that, and then eventually you'll try and do that outcome again. And it's not there a lot of times.
I thought Spain looked a lot better in the Sweden game, the passing quality.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this game that there was just some sloppy
There's no
passes.
sharpness to going forward.
Yeah.
It is a lot more side to side. They definitely need more north to south with their passing. If you're just going to pass and hold the ball to hold the ball, what are you
pointless.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah, and in that Sweden game, they had some good chances that they created,
Yeah.
at least, but were saved by Olsen because he's.
Doing an amazing job out
Going
there.
off,
And then missing by Morata.
But this game,
They still had chances, too, out front. It was more like in the second half. I felt like they had a few just, like, chances out in front, but like the scramble, there'd be a scramble between, like, the
I
keep
thought they
and
had
defender,
better
and they-
chances in the first game. This game, they were kind of like more half chances.
I'm talking specifically in this game. I thought their second half, they had better chances than the first half.
Yeah.
It really felt like they had one chance, and they did score on it, but...
Yeah, I expected them to come in and kind of unlock Poland and win easily.
Yeah.
Maybe like a 3-0 or something. Just pass around them, but
Yeah, I mean, Poland, they're not, like, awful on defense, but they're not the quickest. You're not going to beat them in the air with Bednarik and Glick back
not to
there.
mention you're Spain, and you won't beat
Anybody
anybody.
in the air. So it's like you coming down to the end trying to swing balls in. It's pointless. But the second goal for Poland, I mean, I believe it came off a giveaway, and then it kind of led to a little bit of a counter going forward, and then the cross into Lewandowski. But
He plays in a Farmers League, to be fair, though.
that's what I'm saying, man. The Farmers League merchant, he finally scored.
Could have scored one earlier off the rebound.
Yeah.
Kicked it straight at
Straight at
Unai Simon.
Simone. I thought if we're talking Premier League guys, Glick had a pretty good game out there for Poland.
That man's insane.
Yeah.
As in, like, just mentally, like, I don't know what's going on there. But
He had that dipping shot early that I wouldn't have been surprised if it would have went in. I mean, same thing with Poland. I mean, it's not surprising that they've only scored. Well, they got one today. I guess that's a little surprising. But last game they didn't score a ton. It's just what's gonna happen when your best facilitator is Piotr Zielinski. I mean, they don't really have the quality going forward. Any thoughts on Motor today? He's kind of just blah.
Yeah, I don't think he looked that great. It
Yeah.
seemed like he gave up the ball a bit. But that kind of seemed like everyone on Poland was just giving up the ball. They were either giving up the ball or fouling like every 5 seconds. Somehow it says the fouls committed was 18 to 16. It felt like it was like 90 to
90 to like 10
or something.
Yeah.
Especially at the end of the game.
I've been a little disappointed with I mean Rodri, he's not going to be doing much going in attack, so I'm not, you can't really expect a ton on him. But Fernand Torres, Premier League attacker, really hasn't done much for him. I know that today they brought him on as a sub for Olmo. I feel like they should try to incorporate him a little more, get him going, because Olmo hasn't done a whole lot this tournament for me.
He's had his chances, and he hasn't done much with them. I mean, this game he had like one that was kind of like a half chance, a shot, easily saved. But
yeah, Spain doesn't have the vibes, let me tell you.
I wish they would have brought on Adama Traore.
You might as well. It's something different.
Direct.
Yeah, it's something different. Even though he doesn't fit your system and he's a solo kind of guy, that's kind of what they need. They need some magic because their system right now is not failing them entirely, but it's not working the best that it could be.
Although there is the problem of who does he cross to?
That's
does
true.
he cross to Morata? I don't know.
I guess it's Moreno, but you're not going to be crossing against Poland. So this group, Sweden atop, 4 points. Slovakia, 3 points. Spain, 2 points. Poland, 1 point, minus 1 goal differential. Slovakia and Spain, goal differentials, both 0. This is like catastrophic for Spain. How are you not winning this group?
Yeah, that's...
They still technically can, mathematically, but this...
Because it's Spain versus...
It's Spain versus Slovakia. And then Sweden, Poland. Any thoughts on Sweden, Poland? I mean, Poland, they technically can go through too. They just need a win, but I trust Sweden to be able to hold up shop.
Yeah, I'd expect them to probably keep another clean sheet.
Yeah, I would, or maybe concede one, but even then, they could probably bag one against Poland. Poland's defense hasn't looked all that sharp.
Yeah, it could be like a 1-0 or 1-1. Because, I mean, Sweden hasn't
I'd be
been
surprised if
many
Sweden
goals.
didn't go through. Yeah, they only have 1 through 2 games, so.
Yeah.
But I would be surprised if they couldn't manage it and get through. Slovakia and Spain, I'll back Spain to go through, but, man.
I would think they can at least win this one.
Yeah. I mean, Sweden's able to create chances against Slovakia, and Poland scored a goal against Slovakia. So even though they have Skriniar, they're still not the strongest defending team.
Yeah.
So
Poland could have won that game too.
Yeah,
if Krkowiak didn't get sent off.
Yeah. I would back it to be Sweden and Spain still going through.
Yeah.
Group F, final group. Today, Hungary, France, 1-1. We've talked about Hungary being the team of vibes.
Absolute vibes.
Yeah, dude.
They were still vibing.
Yeah. They're still, anytime you beat COVID and solve COVID the way Hungary has,
some say they never stopped vibing.
Not many chances going forward, but right before half, they had one. They took advantage of it.
Yeah, France had some chances in the first half. Early. Yeah. Kind of like peppered some shots on goal, but
that Griezmann one, early on. I think in the first 10 minutes. Should
Yeah.
have been a goal.
Should have scored.
Right at him.
Mbappe had a chance to score.
Yeah, it just went wide.
Benzema had a chance to score.
Benzema had the
should have
chance.
scored.
Had the chance to score. Oh my gosh. The outside boot for no reason. You have the goalie one. I don't want it. It's like just easier said than done, I guess.
Yeah, it seemed like they had Hungary on the ropes, but Hungary bounced back and
had
like
them on the
right
ropes.
before halftime, a great run from Fiola.
Yeah.
Quality
Amazing.
finish,
And then the
it's
celebration
1-0,
was just...
And the celebration, he goes over to some lady's desk over there on the side.
It looked like our
of the field.
setup. It's just a lady sitting there with
And
like a mic.
He's just smacking the stuff off the desk.
She's like scared but smiling at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the fans were getting hype with the other Hungary players. It was awesome. That's why you love the Euros right there. Second half, Dembele came on for Rabiot.
For like a whole 4 minutes or something. Got subbed off again due to injury. It was probably a little longer than 4 minutes.
No, yeah, it was 57th and 87th.
Yeah.
So, but still came on. He made like one or two chances, nothing too crazy. He had a shot that I think it would have hit the post if Gulacsi didn't save it, but I don't know.
No, he did
but
hit the post.
It did hit the post.
Yeah.
I thought it was saved. But I think that's an important thing to point out, not because Dembele or anything, but taking off Rabiot, putting on another attacker, something maybe Gareth Southgate should do, maybe.
Yeah, why do you need Rabiot in this game? He didn't look very good anyways.
I mean, it's, the midfield was Rabiot, Kanté, Pogba. I mean, I know you have people going forward, and Digne and Pavard can provide some stuff. And your front three is obviously amazing in attack, and you just kind of let them do their thing. But it's still, I don't know why it's so defensive of a midfield. But on that goal, Griezmann with the Selly.
The Selly to equalize against Hungary. It's
Hungary.
like, dude, what are you doing? Like, and it's like the dumbest thing ever. Like, you're shaking your butt. Like, just please stop. You're embarrassing me.
With this game, Pogba didn't look quite as good this game. Giroud came on.
They don't pass to him, though.
Yeah.
They don't like him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's punish Olivier. Punish Giroud.
Bad vibes, Benzema.
I don't know. Is this more about Hungary or France? Because I think you could make the case that this is concerning for France.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I think Deschamps just didn't get it right with the team.
To me, this shows like France does have weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, despite having great players, they haven't figured it out completely yet. Gareth Southgate. Waistcoats.
Yeah, France and England are still just, there's that little bit of doubt.
Yeah, they're not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and maybe that's just because of the matchups. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you're in a packed stadium of
when's the last
Hungarians.
When's the last time that these guys had to face that? I mean, a lot of these guys will be like Champions League quality guys, so they face that, but it's like, when's the last time?
Yeah.
Go in silent stadiums to...
Yeah.
It's just at least like 34,000 people in that stadium, if not more.
All going nuts.
Yeah. So, cheering against you. It's got to be hard on the psyche of France. They're fragile anyways over there.
Yeah,
Portugal, Germany.
This was a good match.
This was...
Not for defense.
No, it was a good meme tier match.
Yep.
Starts off, disallowed goal for Germany.
Mm-hmm.
There are two instances that it could have been called back for. Was just called back for the offside because the ball was played to Gnabry and he tried to play it himself. Havertz finally with a little finish touch in this game. About time for the German fraud, the hybrid forward himself.
Well, you got to say Germany looked a lot better going forward in this game than they did in the previous game where they had pretty much nothing. This looked like more the Germany that we have come to know.
Yeah.
Not this struggling Germany.
Well, I know because last show we were talking about, mainly you're talking about getting Mueller more involved.
Yeah.
Centrally, specifically. Wasn't always there centrally. There are times where he's still out wide, but it felt like there's definitely more of a presence to get it to the middle.
Yeah, for sure.
This game.
I mean, they started off, they went down 1-0, though.
Yeah.
It was a great counterattack. Bernardo Silva up to Diogo Jota and over to Ronaldo, the tap and merchant. Goal, 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 goal. And you thought, oh, maybe Germany.
You're like, oh man, they really.
Here we go again.
Yeah, they don't really have it. And then
they find this space against Semedo, and it's like,
oh my gosh,
Gosens is just having a day.
We'll just get out of the way right now and say that Gosens was man of the match.
Man of the match
by far.
Incredible performance. It was just so easy though. They kept going to the well, and it's like a wide space into the central areas.
This is a Premier League podcast. We're going to talk about Premier League players. If we're going to talk about Mr. Semedo.
That was a rough go.
Yeah, he didn't look terrible last game. There weren't chances really going his way.
He looked terrible this game.
He did look terrible this game. The whole Portuguese defense just took a big poop right in the middle of the field. It was disgusting. 2 back-to-back own goals by Ruben Dias.
Yep.
And Rafael Guerrero.
Rafael Guerrero. Yeah, that was. It's the tournament of the own goals. It's the tournament of the missed penalties. It's the tournament of the second half goals.
Those are the 3 takeaways if you're going to take anything away. And all those chances were just out wide, going central.
Yep.
And there were guys, if they didn't own goal, someone was scoring on Germany. Yeah. Especially on that Guerrero one. It was Gnabry was right next to him. So if he didn't play that, Gnabry just taps it in anyway. So.
And we got to talk about this. Kai Havertz. What's wrong with this guy? He looks so sad. He caused an own goal, kind of. He would have scored, And then he did score. He's not even happy.
No, that's what happens when you're.
It's a rough go.
When you're Chelsea.
I think he's hungry. Have you seen him? His face. He looks very.
He's got a very thin face. Bernardo Silva came off at half for Renato Sanchez. Kind of a strange sub. I don't know if they wanted to just shore up the midfield and kind of have more of a ball winner guy in there.
Yeah,
I mean Sanchez Sanchez can still go forward, but not quite like Silva.
And then they took off Jota, and it's like, do you not see these glaring issues? Like Semedo is getting beat every time by Gosens. Like, someone help this man.
Yeah, Gosens today with the ball to Havertz and then the scoring the header at the back post. Really just an incredible game. Atalanta, they're everywhere.
They are?
They're everywhere, folks.
Yeah. But we got Germany riding high, but then they concede another goal just to show that this is...
You never know.
This defense is pretty awful.
You just never know. Jota gets one. Ronaldo assist.
This is that Rudiger and Hummels and...
You just never know with those two specifically because they can provide moments of brilliance. You should have one of those guys in your back line. You should probably not go with 2 of them, but Germany don't really have a choice. Gentner too. I mean, he's not as good going forward, but defensively, he hasn't impressed me all that much.
I think it was definitely a sign of improvement that they can score 4 goals.
Yes.
Although, to be fair, it was kind of just like 1 goal copy and pasted.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it until they stop it. But
that's true.
This game was definitely more about Portugal than Germany for me.
I think it was more about Germany.
Really?
Because I think it shows Germany can score. But also...
Do you think this is just a one-off thing for Portugal? Or you think
No.
So
I don't think Portugal is that good.
I think that I would consider them in the same batch of second tier contenders of coming into the tournament, of them and the Netherlands and Germany, teams that you wouldn't pick them to win, but if you squinted, you could be like, they could make a run.
They are who we thought they were. I mean,
Denny Green.
they won last Euros, but it wasn't because they were the favorites.
Yeah, but they have more quality this time. I mean, they have the Premier League.
They for sure have quality, but the tactics.
Nah.
They leave something to be, desired.
Yeah. Sometimes talent just isn't enough. That's very true.
I mean, the defense was rough. Rui Patricio, don't think he had a particularly good game. He had that one save that he should have caught and it rebounded.
It's because he's going to Roma.
He's going to Roma.
League. He knows that we're not going to be talking about him, so he was actually sadder than Kai Havertz.
Yeah, very sad. And then the midfield pairing of Carvalho and Danilo didn't do it for me.
Well, even in the first game, they're very similar. I wouldn't say they're virtually the same, but they're similar in terms of they're more of a holding mids, and they don't even really pivot back because they're still kind of just lurking in midfield when they have one of their fullbacks go forward. They don't really cover for them and slide the center back over. It is kind of weird, this team. I feel like they'd be best served just going with a 4-3-3, and then or maybe even a 3-4-3 with Jota, Ronaldo, and Silva up top, and then you have Fernandes along with Renato Sanchez, and then you have either Pereira or Carvalho as kind of like the guy holding it down. Your thoughts on that?
They need something. That's what I'll say.
They need help. They need some help. Can we get some help over here?
So give me the points rundown on Group F.
France 4, 1-goal differential. Germany 3, 1-goal differential. Portugal 3, 1-goal differential. Hungary 1 point, -3 goal differential. Hungary's probably toast, unfortunately. We knew it happened, but
the big match is between France and Portugal.
Yeah. I mean,
that can seal some fates.
It can. I feel like it's probably going to be another one of the multi-goal games for Portugal, but they'll probably concede multiple goals as well. It'll probably be like a 2-2, 2-3 kind of game for them.
I say, and then France.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Germany lost to Hungary somehow.
No, I wouldn't either. The defense looks not that good.
If they're just not there mentally, I don't rule anything out.
I mean, can Germany play against a team that doesn't have this glaring issue at fullback and then allow them to do the same thing over and over again?
Well, their thing is that they don't really have a fullback because they just play that back three, and their wing backs have not been great on defense. As good as Gosens was today going forward.
Yeah.
And he did play better at defense in this game. He's not the most defensive-minded guy. He is pretty much like a left mid, but they throw him back as like a wing back. Kimmich, I mean, he's more in the midfield for Bayern. So, I mean, it's going to be a little adjustment for him to kind of be in that.
I was more talking
role.
about the Portuguese fullbacks. But
I thought we were talking about Germany. Well, because we were talking about, because we were saying how Germany has such issues with their defense. But you're just specifically talking about Rudiger, Hummels, and Gintner.
Yeah, I suppose it's also partly due to that wingback thing.
Getting wide and having people attack you from that way.
But I think it'll also be different because Hungary will play a low block.
Yeah.
Against Germany. And
so this is going to be more about manufacturing goals.
Yep.
Specifically trying to get Mueller and Gnabry involved.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if they didn't win. I think they'll win. Not comfortably, but we'll go.
But the vibes.
The vibes of Hungary, dude. Is this one in Munich or is this one in Budapest?
I would expect it to be in Munich. Let's see. Yep, Munich.
Okay.
They don't let our boys Hungary have home field advantage.
Too many times. Yeah, I would back Germany to finally just put it through and get past. So we're thinking, you're thinking Germany will get through over Portugal?
Yeah. I mean, I think all three of those teams will make it through, but
You do. What if Portugal loses like 4-2 again? And the goal differential.
But Portugal has 3 points.
Yeah, what if someone else gets 3 but they don't have the goal differential?
I don't know, man. This
It's so
the
much-
third
there's so
place getting. They have a
It's a flawed system.
66% chance.
I would say that's fair. That's fair because they could still somehow win outright. You just never know with Portugal.
I mean, France hasn't even looked all that impressive.
No,
So,
that's what I'm saying. You just never know. Any takeaways from the second match day?
second match day, man. Just kind of disappointment from England for sure.
Yeah, I think that's obviously the big one. Not even just because we're Premiership perusal. I think everyone's just like, wow.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have them as like the second best team in the tournament. And they're not playing like the second best team in the tournament. For sure. I mean, it's kind of funny though, watching England. They kind of remind me of Arsenal in a way. The way they've been struggling to attack.
Mm-hmm.
I think Arsenal kind of
They make it harder on themselves at times.
Yeah. And it's like not having guys who are running into space.
It's like the
Stuff
other
like that.
team takes away their main thing and then they just like they don't have a second option.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to be able to have something. It may not be your primary strength, but you have to have some other way to attack them. If I had to have a takeaway, I like the response from Belgium, too. To turn it around like that, the way they did.
It shows the importance of De Bruyne.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I thought it was funny during that game they mentioned they're like, and they have such good attacking players with De Bruyne and Lukaku and even Eden Hazard, and I was just like, oh no. Oh no.
Not that man.
I'm waiting for the fat man to strike. Other than that, I think everything kind of went shock for most of the other groups. I mean, I would say a good amount of people would probably be surprised by Spain, and that'd be a takeaway.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've mentioned it before, man.
Yeah, we expected that.
I don't. Just disappointing. Maybe the holes in Group F.
Yeah.
They're more glaring than I thought they were.
Yeah, they don't look as strong as we might have thought
Yeah.
them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I liked was Wales.
Yeah.
I was happy that they changed and they played like they did last tournament because that's fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, they established that they very well could end up making a run into the final 8 again.
Yeah.
And you can't be ruled out. Well, it's coming up. Matchday 3 starts tomorrow.
Starts
2
tomorrow.
games, and they're doing that where the same groups, the 2 games will be same day, same time, so it's building the drama. I kind of like that in a way. It's unfortunate because you'll just have to throw a game on your phone or something and then watch on your TV. But
It's unfortunate for us as podcasters who like to deeply analyze the small details of the game and really fully grasp it.
Yes. Do they not know the pressure they're putting us under?
Yeah, struggle bus. They could at least give us a day off in between, get our stuff together.
What would you say, besides England, would be the main watching point for these games, match day 3? Is it just the Group F stuff?
Group F. I also want to see a convincing performance from the Netherlands.
Good point.
Maybe Denmark. See
if
what they got
yeah.
to do. I think a big one between Sweden and Poland. Can Sweden kind of elevate their game to show like they deserve to be in the knockout stages?
Yeah, not just hold on for dear life and then somehow lose to Poland, but they get through. I think that is an important part.
I'm
for
not
them to
looking
do.
forward to watching Spain versus Slovakia. I'll just tell you that straight up.
Why?
Because I hate watching Spain.
I want to watch Ukraine, Austria. I want to watch that game right now.
That does sound like a good game.
And if Italy and Wales have both their squads full go, balls to the wall, then yeah, I want to watch that game right now. Right now.
So a lot to watch for in Match Day 3.
There really is. It's going to establish everything, believe it or not. It's really going to make the picture crystal clear.
It all comes down to this.
The
Match
big
Day
one.
3. The chase for the knockout stages. That's all we got for today, folks. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can also listen to this on SoundCloud or Spotify. Links will be in the description. Bye.
Until then, bye.
It's not coming home.
It's not coming home. That's the name of the pod with a question mark.